So any words for the audience at home, Dean?
Well, not really, other than this is fucking comfortable.
Entirely what we need to hear.
It's my favourite way to sleep in the woods.
That is a good shot. Say something interesting.
I haven't really got a lot to say, really. I'm enjoying the woods. We had an amazing walk yesterday with a bit of disappointment. And I'm happy to say this is rapidly making up for it. I do think that if you get the opportunity to spend time out in the woods in a hammock, do it. It's, for me at least, exceedingly relaxing. It's a good place to recharge and just be at peace.
So I'm going to try something with drop-in sound quality, but
Oh.
it should be a better pickup for you over there.
You reckon?
Yeah, because the Lavalier mic would have been much quieter. I can't believe it was only yesterday we were trying to do the Oldham Way.
We're still out this time of night yesterday.
Yeah.
Trying to work out that bloody route.
What's the time?
5 to 8.
No, we were home.
Oh.
Yeah, we got back to Manchester at 7:10. Got the bus at 7:30.
Rather.
And then 20 minutes later, we were at mine. But we were both knackered. We didn't even get through one movie or even one cup of coffee.
We did actually walk 25 odd miles. Yes.
I'd need to pace it. I'd need to sort of measure it out. It's hard to tell though on that trail. It felt like we walked at least 25 miles.
Well, we did a lot of up and down.
Yeah.
That adds to mileage because it's not as the crow flies. Because a lot of these things, when they spread out and they measure them, it's a 50-mile walk. It's as the crow flies along the angles.
Yeah.
They don't account for you going round things up and down because you haven't really gone as far as you think when you're going up and down.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to have someone wear a Fitbit when they do one of these.
Well, next time I'll wear mine.
And see exactly how far it
I'll
is.
charge it and it'll only the time's out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to change the time difference on it. But it will tell you how many kilometres you've walked.
Yeah. We certainly fucking walked yesterday. And it was certainly hurting off on the back doing all them miles with all that weight. We were carrying an average between us of about 13 kilos each. 13, 14 kilos.
The weight of my kit was way lighter than it previously has been.
This does rather prove my point that we should have gone to breakfast yesterday morning. And then I could have found that pack and put all my shit in the more comfortable pack. Instead of making me want to die.
Well, I'm always banging on at you tweaking your kit towards different things, because bushcraft, unless you're purposely hiking is a different thing to a through hike.
Yeah.
You're carrying different kit with a different purpose, and most bushcrafters hike a few miles and then it's base camp.
Yeah.
Whereas with a through hiking, it's just camp, move on, camp, move on, camp, move on, camp, move on. Most people bushcrafting have a base camp for a few days. So they only need to carry their shit as far as they're going to stop.
It's usually pretty close to where they're camping. Most of the times I've gone bushcrafting, I've got to within a couple of miles on public transport.
So again, tweak your kit. That's why I've got hiking kit and then there's bushcraft kit. There's a tiny bit of crossover, but like this is my hiking type, and then I've got a different one for bushcraft. Because this is a lot lighter.
Mm.
Same material, I think. Just less other bits on it. It's not sturdy.
Yeah, I don't know what's over there in that direction, but it's obviously got enough houses to warrant a visit from the ice cream man.
It's not too far away, is it? Yeah, it feels like we're in the middle of nowhere.
Get us a mivvy.
Eh? Get us a what?
Get us a mivvy.
What's that? A mivvy?
Yeah,
What's that?
that's an ice lolly that's got ice cream in the middle. Yeah,
Like the
strawberry mivvies.
Yeah, I remember. Now you've said that, I remember that.
I just had this image of you going, right, no problem, Zach, and just storming down there, going across the river, splashing through, hacking your way through the undergrowth,
I think it was the daydream.
blowing up a garden wall, and just finally covered in dust and muck, arriving at the ice cream van, going, I'll have 2 strawberry mivvies, and then repeating the whole fucking mad, not even coming back the same way. So it's just as much of a mad action man adventure on the way back, and then you're coming back.
Go on.
Yeah. And then me saying something was wrong with it.
And the word sorry as you go rolling down the edge of the cliff here.
Yeah. You'd have to. Yeah. We'll see how the audio on that comes out. Whee!
It's definitely getting used to having a camera in front of it.
Yeah.
And I suppose you do it often enough, you relax around it a lot more.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember that the people that this is going to go out to, for the most part, unless you point people at it that are normal, because I won't be pointing normal people at it.
Cold arse. The only problem with this hammock is yours is thick and double walled. This isn't.
Yeah.
And I can already feel like cold arse. The breeze has already gone through it. But that's why I've got that fleece. I'll lay on that fleece tonight.
That fleet, that's the hand gesture for fleet. That's American Sign Language.
The breeze is a bit nip. I'm going to have a cold arse. I won't be able to sleep with fucking cold arse all the time.
Yeah, but you'll have a sleeping bag round. Oh, no, you won't.
I can change it into a sort of a sleeping bag.
So your sleeping bag doesn't quite function as a sleeping bag.
It's not a sleeping bag, it's a quilt.
Yeah.
But you can jerry rig it covers most of you all the way around.
Like a sleeping bag.
Yeah, like a sleeping bag. What have I got myself into?
Yeah.
I should know better.
I have a new thing. It is half of a sleeping bag. It weighs half as much as a sleeping bag, and if you jerry rig it, it could be a sleeping bag. Multi-purpose, is it?
Yeah.
So you can sleep under it or around it.
You'll see what I mean later.
I just don't trust myself not to be sarcastic at you. And then you wouldn't let it go. Yeah. I tried to tell you with my eyes. Let it go. You wouldn't let it lie. I don't even have to hold this one. Look, I can be even lazier. What?
I want a cherry brandy now.
A cherry brandy?
Do you know what? My tripod would have been just right for later on when we're being lazy and I'm watching a movie, and I could have stood right there holding the fucking phone up.
This is getting lower and lower.
Your ropes are stretchy, aren't they?
I know. It just sort of like, I had to get up in.
With you, didn't you?
What?
I put it tighter.
Would you? Well, fuck you with a rusty railway spike.
Ooh, sir.
I'll stretch them out enough, I'll be able to use them as nature intended.
What's that?
What? If I stretch this support out... Oh, no, that's not a good knot.
Did it slip?
I think it slipped a bit.
Oh. You know what
not
that's
the
not?
main knot.
You know what that's not, didn't you?
It's not a knot.
It's not a good knot. Tighten up both sides.
Well, eventually, it's going to be just right. Sometime tomorrow, I'll wake up in the morning and go, oh, that last 15 minutes of sleep were really comfortable.
You're on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, this is better.
Was you there when that happened to me when I had
Yeah,
them ones
that was in Wales when you were, the trees were like 6 metres apart. When your tarp was like perched right in between them, and you just kept sinking lower and lower the whole week. Well, how long we were out there? 2 nights, weren't we? Because the first night we dark set up, which was pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, quite a good setup for
Yeah.
considering.
It was, you know, it wasn't bad. I'm liking this not having to hold the camera shit
No, it's all good.
for my portable rig. I've got a boom pole as well, but I can't think of any good use. You know, the cool thing is, you know those crane shots that they do in films.
Yeah.
You can sort of do that with a boom pole on one of these because you get that same crane shot movement.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And you can get pretty high up. You can get to like 12, 15 feet. So over a car or over a person, then bring it slowly down. And the gimbal will correct for an awful lot of stuff. Give you a nice smooth pan down.
Cool.
And you can get it to lock in so it's looking at vaguely the same
I'm going
thing.
to film a bit before it gets dark and say, you know, due to the failure of our mission.
We did fail. This is all one movie as far as I'm concerned. Essentially,
We decided to
we
spend
got
the
horrendously lost, and then, you know, and at the time we were lost, we were near a train station that would get us back to Manchester pretty nippily. And we had about 10 minutes to make that decision. And I certainly
didn't go into that much detail. But
And I certainly didn't believe that we could get all the way to where I thought we were going to get to, which was probably another 10 miles, without even the markers. We could have probably done the 10 miles before dark at about 6 o'clock and got there just as the sun was setting and we had enough twilight to put all our shit up. We could have just probably made it if we knew for certain where we were going. I bet we could have tabbed on, you know, done a 5-minute rest break every hour and just tabbed like fuck. We could have got to Japs Wood, but because we lost the trail, there was no certainty we were even going to get to the reservoir, let alone Japs Wood. Oh yeah, I've got a firelighter. I had to replace the little buckle here because it snapped. So I thought I was going to replace it, and then I thought of these little ones with the whistle and the firelighter.
they're all pretty cool. I've had loads of them. I'll just keep giving them away. I'd just rather carry a bigger one in my pocket. I know what you mean. But I've got so many different methods of firelighting generally when I go out.
Yeah, but it's nice to have a method of firelighting you totally forget about because it's so straightforwardly put in your
Because I
kit.
usually carry it 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. It's like Sigourney Weaver says in Alien 3. You can make fire. I believe humanity's enjoyed that for a couple of million years. Actually, looking back at it, I'm amazed I managed to get my hammock and tarp up with what I had in my bag.
yeah,
I was a little bit underprepared, a little bit less prepared than I'd like to be.
what managed to do that? That's unlike you.
Yeah, I remembered yesterday, after I packed and after we'd set off, that I didn't have any tent pegs.
Oh right, that's quite an important thing to have, mate.
I'm not using any now.
That'll keep my back dry. Folded over.
Yeah.
Fleece blanket.
I do like the one of those you gave me, those
Well, it's the same
fleece
one.
blanket.
I've got given these, but I only ever use one. No one else ever fucking touches.
I use it in the winter. It goes on my bed along with my my big fluffy blanket because I don't have central heating.
This what?
I don't have central heating in the house.
Yeah.
The only heating I've got is electric. It's one less bill a year, and the number of times where I properly mind that it's cold in the house is very few.
This is going to be odd because it's not stretched out. You know what I mean? You know,
Well, I've got to sort my studio out,
Look at that.
and I've got to get into the habit of going
Got a
up to
lot
my
of-
studio. You've got bingo wings.
yeah. I'm not used to having bingo wings in my hammock. Normally it's quite, I suppose it's uptight, so it is a bit taut there, isn't it?
Yeah. This is the hammock experience, you see. This is what we're doing.
I don't normally hang this low to the ground
No, neither do I. And in fact, our setups would probably be better on if I was there and you were here. Because I haven't got enough space, and you've got too much. You haven't got enough space, and I've got slightly too much.
This hammock works better when it's straight. You know, with enough pull to tighten it.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't fall out. I'll be out of sleep. All right.
Yeah. It's whether we can be bothered to swap everything over.
Eh?
It's whether we can be bothered to swap everything over.
No.
No.
No. This is. I'm set up. This is how I'll stay.
But this is how versatile hammocking is.
Yeah.
This is entirely what, you know, the cool thing about it, because you can never rely on trees being exactly the right distance apart.
Yeah, that's made a big difference to a cold back. I won't sleep in it. I'll sleep on it.
Also, if you had a double layered hammock right now,
Mm-hmm.
you could have just put that inside and it'd stay where it was.
Yeah. That don't always work though. Still.
Yeah, but it's a lot better. You got a lot. I literally scrunch mine out. I'd work out where my back was going to be, and have the top layer of I'd unzip it, spread it out in the base of this, and then make sure that there was as much blanket underneath where I was going to be in the middle, and not so much at the sides.
Which I'm going to try out is I bought. It was really cheap. Ex-Army felt roll mat.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to bring that.
Oh, I forgot. It was only a couple of millimetres thick.
You did bring a lot of shit.
Yeah, well, it's just to talk to you and show you kit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if we were going out and I wasn't showing you new kit. I wouldn't bring it.
Yeah.
But I've got this roll mat. It's huge. It's long. It's square, and its sides are almost as high as this hammock when it's properly up.
Yeah.
But it's only about 2, maybe 3 millimetres. Not even 3 millimetres thick. It's probably 2
Yeah,
millimetres
so
thick.
like a piece of Arctic fleece, really. But if you
So-
cut it to shape,
Well, my plan was to use the DD and self-inflating mat because it's the hammock shape. Put it on it as a template and cut round it.
yeah,
And then I would think it would fit in here perfectly, and I wouldn't need the fleece.
yeah,
And I wouldn't need to bring the under blanket, but for summer, because the breeze is, because it's so thin,
yeah.
and I thought it ain't going to weigh a lot, this felt roll, and it would fit just nicely in here.
Yeah. Hammocks are comfy.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put your mozzie net on yet.
No, I'm not going to bother tonight. No.
Old Porridge Face is back.
Thing is, the mozzies will bugger off at a certain point. It was when we were in
Yeah.
Wales.
They
Early
do go to
were-
bed.
They were, eh?
They do go to bed.
Yeah.
And if we have a little fire on, that'll probably get rid of a few more. We'll do that in a bit. Have some coffee.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Coffee, I forgot about coffee.
Real coffee.
Only got a mess burner if we just want to boil
Real
water.
whiskey.
I can't be drinking that. I'll make me fucking ill, that will.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have such wicked indigestion if I drink whiskey. Don't drink whiskey. Not good for me.
Love whiskey.
I know you do. Not that I don't like the drink, it's just it doesn't
Yeah.
agree with me.
It's almost a shame it's not forecast to rain tonight.
Eh?
Well, I would have liked to have used my tensioner screwed into a little bottle. I reckon I can 3D print them.
Potentially.
You know the little funnel thing that attaches to your guy lines
Oh, yeah.
that you gave me? You sent me one.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I reckon I could 3D print them
Yeah.
and make one so that all it had in the bottom was a pipe screen. You could just put a little pipe screen in the bottom.
Yeah.
Or just a little mesh printed. You could probably print a fairly fine mesh.
So you're flat. Your lay's better than your hammock than mine.
Yeah. And I had to improvise on the tree hugger. It's just that I know that the tree huggers have got a breaking strain of about 400 pounds.
Yeah, my tree huggers are a bit.
Your tree huggers freak me out.
Eh? I've used them before.
Oh yeah,
The first night was, but they're ultra light ones.
yeah.
I've got better ones, much
Yeah.
better ones. The ones I've got at home, when I say better, they're daisy chained, really thick daisy chained ones.
Yeah.
But Henge Hammock do something similar to this with a daisy chain.
Oh, it's 550 paracord. I mean, you're not going to snap it.
What is?
The base
It's
that
not
that
paracord.
what is it?
Dyneema.
All right.
It's that new stuff. It's
What's the breaking strain?
It's fucking horrendous. It's
Probably
awesome.
a lot.
It's a lot.
What's the breaking strain of the carabiner? Because that
Um,
looks to be the weak point to me.
That carabiner was an experiment. I've
A
got
what?
proper climbing carabiners. Well, no, they do
Who with the what now?
No, they do ultralight hammock carabiners.
Yeah.
And these are the Chinese version of the ultralight.
Yeah.
So I was a bit nervous, but now, yeah, but I've used them. Yeah, I'm not now because
Yeah, I
I've
know,
used
but
them.
I mean, when the first time you went
First
out,
night I had them.
did you
didn't
have the
sleep
other
well.
carabiners ready just in case?
No, I've got soft shackles there.
Yeah.
Dyneema soft shackles,
Yeah.
which are the ultralight version, and they really worry you when they're up because it's just like string on string.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit, oh my god, am I going to be alright tonight? But actually, it's surprising how strong it all is.
When we do the movie,
Hey?
and anybody watching this bit will probably already have seen this, I'm going to put a little caption up for this bit, because I'm going to make it all one movie.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep the other way around, I think.
Dean and Zach hang out in the woods.
I'm going to sleep the other way around.
I'm gonna start this bit off with the thing that comes up and just says Plan B, and just
Do
us
what?
sitting in our hammocks because it is comfy.
See, the best bit with my hammock quilt is the absolutely awesome bit about that is what you do is you can button the bottom and the top together a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's a bit in the middle, so you can, if you're laying in a hammock,
Yeah.
I can just sit here with the quilt. Okay, we use it as a quilt, or what I can do is I can button it up together, pull cord at the bottom so it makes a foot box.
Yeah.
And then just climb into it from here without actually unzipping it. The hole's about that big. It's designed for putting on your quilt and then getting in your hammock.
Yeah.
So once you're in, you just lift your legs through the little hole where your body and slide your feet in. And it's fucking awesome, but you can do it. I've tried doing it from here. I haven't even got to get out of bed to get in it. All I've got to do is sit up and then raise my legs and you're in.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
cracking. I'll tell you what, there's a lot to be said for these quilts. I want a really expensive one day that'll do really cold weather, because I think it'll weigh fuck all and they're so brilliant.
Spending a lot of money on bushcrafting kits so you can camp wherever you want. When you spend a lot of money on it, it's kind of like a midlife crisis. It's
I haven't spent a lot of money
it's
on
the
it
equivalent
yet.
of when you're 50 going and buying a red Ferrari
Yeah. Well,
in
all
the
this stuff
bushcrafting world.
Everything here is almost everything. It's posted DD. And
Or when you get to a
expensive.
certain age, you actually own a bush law knife,
No, I won't
a
change
wood law
my
knife.
I'll be quite happy with maybe. I'm either going to stick with the Eldris or I'm going to buy another Terry Kidd.
Terry Kidd knives, they're awesome. There you go, Terry. That's an advert for you. It's another 30 or so people that'll think we're nuts, but will also remember Terry Kidd knives.
He's I'll say he's an artist, the man is. In that respect, he's done some good stuff.
Does he ship internationally?
I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, it's not anything I've ever thought of because I've never.
Yeah, I'm going to do when I get in touch with him. I'm going to ask him if I can review the knives on YouTube. I bet they turn up quick.
Ask him.
No, I really like the idea of both my use knives are made by the same guy and they're good quality.
They're definitely good stuff. I was well chuffed with my purchase.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep the other way around. The breeze is coming up from up there and hitting my head. I don't have the privilege of having long flowing locks down the back.
Or any.
Well, I have, but they're around the chin.
And now we can't see you.
No, it's not. It's not comfortable. The helmet's
Right, we'll draw a veil over the action in inverted commas there.
what? Oh.
Whoop. You know, it's not, as if the screen is any indication of how it is in low light. I don't think I could take a picture with my DSLR in this light at any setting.
Yeah.
It's not actually that bad.
Really?
Yeah. This, you are aware, this is probably a bit I will put in Urban Agogo just to sort of say, look, camera, quite low light.
You can only
And
do
it's
that
about as good as your
if
eyes.
I give you my permission to use my image.
You have to sleep near me tonight. You know, if you want to be a dick, you know, it's not an environment to dick around with me. I'll get creative.
Oh my giddy aunt, what are you like?
Oh dear.
Oh.
The woods is definitely a place that's funny as fuck to be creepy. Because we all do it. Especially if there's someone new to bushcrafting. It all goes a bit deliverance occasionally.
Oh.
Because everybody says terrible things while they're in their hammocks.
And the poor new bloke stays awake all night.
Oh yeah, it's like being at a Frankie Boyle concert. The mean and unsettling things just don't stop until everybody's actually asleep. Oh, the Scouser guys I know, they were really bad for it. Because they're all related. So there could be as many as 4 of them while camping at any one time.
Yeah.
Oh man, they were funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, that was pretty funny when they get all dark and weird when they were talking in their hammocks. Yeah, it's not actually bad. Apologies for the drop in sound quality. I'm sorry, man. The people that watch this would want to know. We're on the camera's own microphone because the lavalier mic won't pick up both of us talking. Is essentially why that is. So apologies for that. It is listenable too. It's just not quite as good. So, thank you to everybody because you guys bought this. Has to be said. We've got some ace footage of the one part of the Oldham Way we have walked, because it was nice. Some of it was really nice. When it was worth walking all the shitty bits to get to the nice bits.
Oh,
there are a lot more nice bits than there were shitty bits.
I really enjoyed the Medlock Valley.
Yeah, it is pretty. I don't want to live there.
Even if
I never ever want to live there. I'm okay for other people to live there, and I'm glad that they let you walk through and they don't try and run you over on narrow tracks. Like they do slow down and shit. You know, that's quite a welcome for hikers. You know, that we don't get run over or anything. But there's not much actual road walking, is there? I don't think we walk more than a couple of miles on roads.
Little bits, wasn't it? Little stints.
You know. It was pretty attractive for most of it. The bit we've done today, and I'm kind of hoping if I get round to going and doing the next bit that it will be as nice. But if I know I'm only doing a day hike, I'll only have a lot, I can take my Maxpedition bag. I really won't need a lot of shit.
You wouldn't have to take an awful lot of stuff.
I probably wouldn't even take a walking stick. I'd because it's the pack that makes you more unsteady.
I've seen you slip and slide everywhere. You've got to take
Yeah.
a walking stick.
I don't really want to, not if I'm filming as well. Yeah, I'd probably take a stick, or I'd go into the woods and look for a stick. If it was like getting a bit rubbish underfoot, I'd go find a stick rather than lug one about and just have a Maxpedition bag, just mooch it. Pick a nice day and just poodle round to the next bit. Just find out where the train stations are that intersect with the walk. If I'm feeling like I want to walk for another couple of hours, I can get to the one after that. And just plan it out a bit. Just not intend to try and walk all of the rest of it in one go, and see. It might take 3 trips or 2, but then at least somebody will know the right way around the frigging thing without any stress. Because I think if you want to walk the Oldham Way, it's probably a good idea to take a guide. What? because it's such a pretty walk. If someone's fit enough to do all, you know, a large enough chunk of it.
Yeah, there were some amazing views.
You know, if you say, right, there are 3 sections, they're all about 15 to 20 miles each. This section's got this, 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 and this, and you show them like some nice vids. And this section's got this, this, and it's all much more open country. It's more stark, but it's got like lots of sort of like, you know, Emily Bronte style charm. It's fucking rugged up there. You know, if you want to be windswept and interesting on a YouTube video, it's a good place to be. It's proper Dickensian and Victorian type stuff, you know. And then there's this bit which is a nice mooch along sort of like 6 or 7 miles of canal, for which you wouldn't need a guide unless they wanted to try and mix and match the things that were either side of the things they wanted to check out. And you could tailor make a walk for them and just say, look, you know, I'll be walking it with you, I'm not going to carry as much gear, and I recommend you don't carry a lot of gear. You know, I recommend that there are stops where you can get public transport back to where we started, and it only takes 20 minutes wherever on the walk you are. I don't know. And if you sort of said, you know, and also I'll use these walks to video them so that people know how to get through it.
That's a good idea.
So you're walking the whole of it,
yeah.
and when they pay you, you're updating it. So if, it won't be you do it once a year. You'll be doing it more or less continuously. So around every 3 or 4 months, in the seasons where you can walk it, you'll have walked all of it. And probably every 5 or 6 weeks, if you did it a lot, you'd have walked all of it again, and you could then video and mark off things that have changed and put that into the video as an update.
Good idea.
And then, because you've got it all recorded, you release it as a slow TV video.
Slow TV?
Yeah, in Scandinavia they've got this thing called slow TV.
Yeah.
Where they'll have a camera pointed out the bow of a cruise ship, say, and have it visit all the fjords in real time.
Yeah.
And then they just put that on TV, like 8-9 hours of it.
Okay.
And people chopping wood. But they did a wood burning evening where people talked about axes and chopping wood and how they like to pile up their wood and shit like that. Like, it was completely, because everybody in Scandinavia does that, and everybody does it in a slightly different way. The Scandinavian people talking about their big piles of wood they had waiting for winter so they could use their wood burning stove in their cabins and saunas and shit.
Yeah.
That's a totally compelling thing in Scandinavia because everybody's got a slightly different way of doing it.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so they might all chop the wood there might be loads of guys that chop the wood in the same way, but some of those guys will pile it up differently, and some of them will use a bit of a different axe. And some of them prefer a sharper axe, and some prefer a blunter axe, or some don't use axes at all but use splitting mauls because they're good with splitting wedges and shit. And they'll talk about that for a couple of hours, really meaningfully. Then there'll be women talking about it as well. You know, well, I'm a woman, so I have to, you know, really aim for the wood that I'm going to cut. So there's, you know, this way, you know, this is what you're looking for if you're a woman and you're chopping your own firewood.
Yeah.
For another hour or so. And the old guys are like well interested and stuff, you know. And also, you know, if somebody says, and if you know, this is for anybody that doesn't have, like, if you're not feeling like you're stupid strong can hammer, you know, a wedge split straight into a big 3-foot roundel of wood. Don't be an idiot. You know, here's how to do it with a minimal amount of effort. I mean, what if the only person that is around that can chop wood is a pregnant woman? And in Scandinavia, they like literally will talk about that shit. You know, they'll talk about survival skills for the pregnant and survival skills for the elderly. Things to remember before you go to bed if you're elderly and you're in a cabin out in the woods in the middle of fucking nowhere, because it's a real thing to Scandinavians.
Yeah.
Lots of them do it.
Well, they're more of an outdoor nation than a lot of the others.
Yeah, and their outdoors will kill you in just as dead as a lot of the other outdoors. So that's what I'm talking about. When they talk about chopping wood for their fire, they're really into it. It's like 15 hours or something stupid. And then they've got real-time journeys from, you know, Helsinki to the most northern place in Finland, I think. Or is it Norway? I think it's one of those places right in the far north. It's the only town that's far enough north that you regularly get to see northern lights. It's that far north.
I can't
It's the only town in Europe. It's like Hellsbad or somewhere like that. You know, and they show you the train journey to there on a day where they filmed it a couple of times, because it's not like you have to have a dude do it. Just mount the camera on the front of the train, switch it on, set it to record, and just wait till you get there. You can go off and have a cup of coffee if you want. It's not going to change. The camera's securely mounted off your pop. So, but when you get there, you might need to have to go back 2 or 3 times to get this right, because when we get there, we want it to be on a night, and we got like a good 50% chance of seeing the Northern Lights at this time of year. But we need to go back and forth until we get the Northern Lights for the arrival bit, because that'll be magnificent coming into that town, and over the town the Northern Lights are kicking off. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty mint. And they go and do it. Their television company, because they do 8 hours of knitting. Just people sitting around knitting. No action, no hot knitting exercises or brand new shit. They're just knitting scarves and having a bit of a chat. I mean, what's going to happen when marijuana gets legalised? You're going to have stone chat shows. Some wacky ideas are going to come out of that. I bet Boris Johnson don't dare smoke weed. You learn a lot about yourself when you're stoned. I bet that's a mirror you don't want to look into. Fucking hell. You know, the only thing that would save it and make it okay is if it was just he'd been doing a deliberate ruse, so nobody thought he was going to do anything good or radical, and just a bumbling idiot, and people were turning into, we want a bumbling idiot in charge because all these people sound too smart to us. Yeah. And they're doing evil shit. We'll not find a smart person that won't do evil shit. No, we'll find a stupid person that will do evil shit. And yeah, and he's just doing it to get to power, and once he's in power he just do all kinds of reasonable shit, because he'll have 4 years to make some really sweeping changes.
Well, he might be like that.
No, there's no way. That's the truth. That's me really reaching. That's as positive as I can be. Oh. Now I've got to wonder whether this needs to be in the video.
Yeah.
I think it should.
You know what Brian used to say, didn't you?
What did Brian used to say?
Always look on the
oh no!
side of life.
You Brian rolled me. You Python rolled me.
Oh.
You know, I didn't, you know, particularly want to be a dishwasher. I wanted to be a lumberjack, leaping from tree to tree. I don't know why I'm holding something, essentially, that has a tripod. Yeah.
I'm really disappointed that I've got to get out of my hammock soon.
Why? Why have you got
yes.
this? Oh.
Trying to hold it off for as long as possible. You might want to take that out of your video. I keep forgetting you filming.
What? You've watched my other videos.
Yeah, that's true.
There's lots of videos of me stopping running going, fuck. That was a long run. My legs feel funny. You notice I never dress it up. Do you ever watch the ones where I'm running or exercising?
Say that again?
Do you ever watch the ones, the Able to Go episodes where I'm actually doing those exercises? I mean, not with Carly in the room because she'll ask you to do some of those exercises, but you know.
Yeah, thank
you should do that, Dean. Oh, that'll teach you.
What, for watching your videos?
Yeah. Oh dear. I never said these videos will enhance your life. Might give you a chance to laugh at a podgy bloke trying to run. What?
You know what I said.
No, I'll check with you later though. Might need to edit some of this out.
Oh, big chunk.
Oh dear. That's funny. is working though. You know, my viewpoint is much improved.
Yeah.
I can laugh about it now. Yeah. Yeah, now I've got to make a video about my new pack. I'm not saying it's the best pack in the world, but it is it's a vast improvement.
Now I've converted, yeah.
I have seen the light. I would not have liked to have worn, because my shoulders are still pretty bruised and my backs and thighs are a little bit sore. Because there was a lot of up yesterday. Like a lot of up.
There was a lot of up.
And a lot of relentless up. It wasn't up for a little way, it was up for a long, and you knew when you started on an up, it was going to be for a while. You just looked at it. I mean, when we, when we looked at that tower and I go, oh, I wonder if we'll go any closer to that. Right up to it. Fuck! The path literally led to the tower. Ooh, who'd want to go up there? Bollocks! That's how it felt quite a lot of the time. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as the March of Death on Hadrian's Wall.
Which bit was the March of Death?
When we got into, what's that place? It wasn't Halsteads, it was that town that we were saying it better be fucking great, and all there was a car dealership and a pub.
Yeah.
And a garage.
We paid about £1 million for a fucking roll of tape for your, medical tape for your foot.
Was it? It wasn't my foot.
No, it's Jamie's.
Jamie's. It was the right call though.
Oh,
And then being fabulously misdirected. Again, looking for blazes. Yeah, I reckon that'd make a good slow TV thing. I reckon you could possibly. I wonder what English slow TV would be. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'll be talking about Essex. The only way is Essex. And
No,
down
no.
to the pub.
You have people that do a thing that takes a while. Like somebody going, oh right, there doesn't even need to be any dialogue. Somebody travelling the Grand Union Canal in real time. Like 100 or so hours of just somebody puttering along the countryside in a canal boat. And just, you're literally watching it as it happens. And seeing all the countryside and all the weird little areas and going through Manchester and stuff and all the weird underground locks they got there. And all the odd places on a canal. And you don't have to speak to anybody, you don't have to watch anything, you just sit there and chill the fuck out. I reckon that would sell.
Possible, isn't it? I suppose there are people out there that will watch anything.
No, but if you're stressed, it would be extremely restful to watch something unfold before you that you could not possibly predict and that was probably not ever going to freak you out. It's just going to tick on by and look nice. And the only sound you can hear is there's a microphone on the putter of the engine. It's designed not so the people that are steering the boat can talk and shit and navigate safely, but you're not going to hear it. You've got this low puttering sound as the engine's ticking along. Like there's nobody speaking on the boat, it's just magically going through the locks and shit. And guys get out and do all the stuff for you, just sitting there watching from the front of a lovely narrowboat. And maybe the other channel will be the view behind it. Like 2 satellite channels running at once. You can just change cameras. There's like either 2 or 4 video tracks. Can you tell me that wouldn't be relaxing?
Well, I would find it.
Or doing the Scottish Crinan Canal, which probably wouldn't be as long. It'd probably be like 12 hours to do the Crinan. But the Crinan Canal was called by Queen Victoria the prettiest shortcut in the world, and it is. Going down, you have to pay, but going down the Crinan Canal is total eye candy. And you have to stop halfway over and more up, because it's just too long to do on at like 3 miles an hour on a boat with all the locks. There's like 20 locks. So everybody tries to help out. And yeah, so it's really nice. And it just is visually lovely. There isn't a crappy bit. There's nothing ugly on the Crinan Canal at all, even in our modern time. And there's 2 or 3 towns along the way, and it isn't ugly. It's like, you know, when Richmond is actually tidy,
Yeah.
how nice it can look on the river, and Kingston and places like that.
Yeah.
If you imagine those on a smaller scale, where instead of the Thames running through it, it's a canal with all the nice architecture and pretty houses and nice pubs and people cycling by and everybody really cheerful, and it being a sunny day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. It was scary because the boat I was on was not a canal boat. The boat I was on was a 10-metre sailing boat. And the 10-metre sailing boat had a 3-metre keel. And the Crinan Canal is not known for being overly, you know, even on as its depth goes.
Yeah.
So we had to watch the depth gauge with horrified eyes all the time because we had a less than a metre clearance underneath the rudder. So that meant if anybody had been like ghastly enough to ruin it by throwing a shopping trolley in the canal, we could catch on it, and it would get pulled into the engine. Things would get very bad from there on in. So it's pretty scary, but it was absolutely stunning. I'd watch that if I could change cameras and shit and look to either side and get, because you're only going at 3 miles an hour. It's like you're walking past stuff. It's just that you probably couldn't stop and look at anything closer, because even if you pause the video, all you get is a still frame. So you're probably just best off letting it drift by. But yeah, I bet people have watched hours and hours of canal boat footage. If you made it glossy and nice and it was nice weather and you know the canal boat was pretty and the canal you were on was nice and attractive, or at least interesting. And you didn't have any dialogue. But if something of historical importance comes up, a little line of text just pops up at the bottom of the screen. Oh, we're going past the Manchester Free Trade Hall, which is interesting because that's where the Sex Pistols first played, in the north. And 5 bands came out of that gig, and there were only 27 people there. Almost everybody that left that gig became musically famous. Moving on, you know, just blip. Only needed a little ticker tape thing. Oh yeah, I bet people would watch it. Just as an antidote to normal television.
Something different.
I mean, it would be almost as good for some people's stress levels as actually going on a canal boat holiday, possibly even better. You know, if you sit here and spend a Saturday, sit round with the family, nobody goes out to cook, you know, getting sandwiches or pre-make your food, and before you start watching this and switching it on your big 5-foot wide television screen that dominates the room, when it's not like you're watching it on a laptop or anything. People will be watching this on 60-inch screens and shit. And we all sit down and we have a picnic and we don't raise our voice and we just chill out, even if it's only for a few hours, and look at what it looks like to travel along this pretty canal in a pretty part of the country.
Yeah.
Like it's a summer day, it's quite warm in here, we've got central heating, and in its daytime, so we're getting the natural light. But we're just going to watch these people just chill out and just as an exercise. We may never do it again, but if we're sitting around having a picnic in the lounge and we're watching the canal roll by, let's just see if that doesn't make us a bit happier. As an alternative to going and being trapped somewhere for a week, we just spend a couple of days a month having an afternoon and a picnic on the sofa with nice snacks and fresh fruit, and it's nice and warm, and we don't have to get wet, and we don't have to shout at each other on how to open a lock, and we don't have to get frustrated when Maisie bangs the narrowboat into the side of the lock and gets all stressed out, or there are people behind us hooting. The people driving this narrowboat absolutely know what they're doing, as do the people that are picking the snacks on the narrowboat. Us, we know what snacks we want, that's what we're going to eat. And we're going to sail along with our favourite food and nice things to look at for about an hour. And yes, while we're sailing along, you can talk to us about what you see. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I like the idea anyway.
Just to be used to do it'd be the atheist equivalent to like Sunday service. Or somebody does a really good flyby of some mountains. Or somebody goes trekking up a mountain with quite a good quality camera on their head. Or on a hill wall, on Hadrian's Wall. I mean, imagine doing that for a living.
Oh, you mean being a guide?
Live filming, like filming in real time,
Yeah.
100% of a walk like Hadrian's Wall in real time, and 100% of the Oldham Way and the Ridgeway and the Pennine Way
Yeah.
and the South Coast Peninsula Pathway. Doing all of them in real 100% time, where you've got an audio track.
Yeah, I'm listening, dude.
You can have the person talking as they're going along, or you can mute them, or you can have text telling you what each thing was, and you could just have the normal background sound. You know, just wouldn't you watch that?
Yeah, I would.
Live bushcrafting, or even not even live bushcrafting, but real time, a whole night of bushcrafting, up until we fall asleep. We just
Yeah.
set the camera up
To
rolling.
be fair, I would. I'm pretty predictable like that.
And if you had, there must be loads of people that would watch people actively bushcrafting for the whole time. They take along a few action cameras that are okay in low light, or some battery powered lamps, and you just have 5 hours of people bushcrafting, setting up their shit, talking in, you know, sitting and talking. So this is the experiment. This video that we're using here is the experimental footage, the first maybe hour of real-time bushcraft.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to watch it fairly carefully and bleep out some bits or cut out some scenes. So apologise, you will get a jump cut. There will be a bit that looks like we cut it out, but you know, let's be sensible. But we probably won't say anything too off colour. But if we mention people, we're going to chop out those bits. You know, so it'd just be guys shooting the shit as long as it's not personally about anybody. That's fair. There's no sense in upsetting the people we know or people we know thinking we talk about them endlessly when you're just sitting around and chilling. Not that I don't think we've said anything mean about anybody, but we're just not going to say anything about anybody anyway. Because what you think is mean or funny or, you know, it's hard to tell, unless it's about each other. If you want to tell these people something embarrassing about me, would you be up for that?
I couldn't think of anything
As
anyway.
long as it's not like marriage threatening or anything like that, you know. But if we say anything embarrassing, just leave it in and just say, look, you shoot the shit. You're out in the woods. You're talking. You're chasing away the dark with your voices a little bit. Not 100%, but a little bit of you is like grateful for the company.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Bushcrafting with 2 or 3 people is awesome. Especially if, you know, you're all quite capable of doing your own shit. You know,
I'm listening to
camping
you.
with people that have done solo camps is better than camping with people that never camp solo. I think it's an important thing. You know, doesn't matter if your first bushcraft experience is with 5 or 6 people. You know sooner or later you want to be out there on your own and see what it's like. Or you don't have any choice because no one will come with you. That's also true, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go out and you solo camp and everybody goes, oh, you know, that's really brave. And you're like, yeah, I just wanted to be at one with nature. You don't want to say, I was scared. I wish you had someone's hands are old. No one would come with me. Ah, my Padawan learner, you have learned the first important lesson of bushcraft. The solo camp is indeed a mighty triumph, but you best get used to it. Welcome to bushcraft. That's definitely staying in.
Oh, dear.
Oh. Can still sort of see with the camera.
Yeah, I've tried with my camera, but it doesn't like this light at all.
But you know when people do bushcrafting videos, with the exception of Dual Survival, where they did shoot the shit a little bit,
Yeah.
but where we know what we're doing, we haven't gone, and now with our handy dandy hammocks we have a bedding system and we have water purification and we've the means to make filter coffee and all kinds of groovy shit and snacks. You know, we're well set out of a bag. You know, we don't have to panic too much. We've got plenty of everything. And we even had to improvise a little bit, but we were so... You had to improvise quite a lot, I had to improvise quite a lot, and we put our hammocks and tarps up in entirely the wrong places. It would have been much better if we were in exactly the opposite spots, but we're like, no, this is what you do, you improvise.
Yeah. Make the best of what you got and what you've done.
And it's nice to be with someone that also does that. You know, that's an important step in your bushcrafteriness. You know, you just go your absolute nth to solve the problem for yourself, because you know what, you know, great that you're solving this problem today, but you need to keep that bit of your mind sharp, because who knows what you're going to have to figure out, mad shit you're going to have to figure out next time when you go on your own and there ain't nobody to help you. So although you do, on occasion people do ask for help if someone else is there. If you wild camp alone, if you're wild camping with someone that is never going to go on their own, because some people won't, then yeah, I'm always like, look, if you need anything, say. You know, but it's a good skill to have for solo wild camping. And solo wild camping is probably what you're going to be doing a lot, if you like it. It's true.
Yeah, well, people don't like going out. They don't like being in discomfort.
Yeah, it's an analogy to discomfort. But the more in discomfort you can endure, the more capable you are of pushing yourself. You're competing against you yesterday when you do this.
Yeah.
You know, what did I think I would put up with that kind of difficulty yesterday? You know, if I push myself. Same thing with the exercise and the diet. Did I eat the donuts? Did I then hate running? Yes, I hated running after eating the donuts. Okay. Do you need the donuts that badly, given that you really want to do the running and you're ambivalent now about the donuts? That's how you quit donuts and ice cream. No, I've lost 7 kilos, mate. And I'm only halfway through the training and it's only going to get harder. For the first time in my life, I might be within my BMI reference, just within it. So I'll be just coming up to overweight.
Yeah.
Because I've got quite a big build,
Really?
you know.
Oh,
So you know, when it's better toned, and if I can keep it the way and get it even better toned after that, just by find 2 or 3 set types of exercise that I actually like,
Yeah.
and I can sort of see myself having running as one of those. I do actually like running through the woods and shit. It is nice. If you're gonna go and do an exercise, I like these woods for the exercising. And you know, it says go for a vigorous 30-minute walk. Well, I'm doing that every day. And 3 of those days when I'm doing that every day are technically rest days. So I'm getting the weight off and converting in and basically putting on muscle. But I'm telling you, I wish I had this new pack yesterday. I really do.
A good pack, it does make a difference.
I have seen the light.
I
Seen
think
the
we've all
light.
got such preferences, stamina, everyone's different, so it's good to try on.
The other thing with bushcrafting is if somebody buys a new piece of kit and they swear by it, do at least think about it.
Mm.
Don't look at it and go, nah, I prefer my 500-ton tarp. And my backpack of instant pain. Backpack of instant pain. But the plus side of walking with the backpack of instant pain is my tolerance for pain is now so fucking high. It's like having run in steel toe cap boots and done 5 miles runs in steel toe caps and then putting on a pair of trainers in order to run back. You feel like you're on the friggin' moon. And that's how it feels. It's like my back's gone, what? But you said there would be weight and terror and pain. No, the new pack, look. The weight is evenly distributed and the backpack is the right size for your back. And look, I am no longer sweating like a pig through my t-shirt. I like the frame, but I also like the fact it opens from, you lay it down and you can open it up. I love that. That's a revelation for me.
They've been about for ages.
I know. I've never owned one. I've owned the, where did you put the thing that you need? It's at the bottom of your pack somewhere in the dark. Panty bollocks. Like the unnamed terror of the wee that you really need to go for in the middle of the night, that you try and ignore for 3 hours. You kind of know that you want to go for that wee really badly, but you also kind of know that you're actually warm. And you need to put on boots. Socks are not recommended in spiny stuff woodlands.
That's what I like about it.
You know what? If I was a better motivated person, I'd have my night vision goggles by now.
You're not a very good friend. You haven't made and bought your night vision goggles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I mean, that would be a funny statement if you didn't know that the friend in question was more than capable of making said fucking night vision goggles. Like, I'm scarily more than capable of it. It will take me, if I sit down with all the bits in one place, it will take me about 3 hours to make a pair.
Yeah.
And do you know how long it'd take me to make the second pair?
Even less.
About 10 minutes. And do you know how much they'll cost? 30 quid a pair, max. So where the fuck are they?
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't done it because you're lazy. Lazy bastard.
I know. It's terrifying how, you know, technology acts as Lego. It's like really complicated Lego, and if you can figure it out, you can make some cool shit. And you're not even taking anything apart really and soldering it too much. I've got to solder on 3 buttons to 6 pins, and then I've got to write probably a 10-line program, maybe a bit longer than 10 lines, but it's not much more than that.
Yeah.
Because I don't even have to write the bit where it understands what a camera is. The library for that is already written. All I got to say is when button 1 is pressed, turn on camera.
Yeah.
Which will mean that as what there is a Raspberry Pi Zero, right? Those little gumstick sized computers.
Yeah.
Plugged into a night vision camera that you can buy, that it's built for.
Yeah.
And then you have the Raspberry Pi Zero powered by like a phone bank charger,
Yeah.
like an ordinary Poundland phone bank charger, because it'll run it for hours. Okay, and then you have the video line going into a pair of goggles that they use as very, very cheap FPV drone goggles. There's like a little 4-inch screen that's held with a goggle piece just the right distance from your eyes so you can see it.
Yeah.
So it's a false, it encompasses your whole vision when you're looking into these goggles. So as you're looking out the camera, you're getting about a 90-degree vision thing. So you have to turn your head a little bit more to get a wider pan of vision. But you have got night vision goggles, and there's another button, and all you have to do when you press button 2 is it says, you know the camera, take a photo from it and save it in this folder. And then a third button that says, you know the camera, start recording video until this button is pressed again. So you'll have a heads-up night vision video camera
Oh yeah, well, I get the concept.
out of 25 quid's worth of bits. So I promise you, when I build one, if I can get it to work and you are suitably impressed, I will just build you a pair and send it to you.
That's not a plan.
Because those will be cool fun to have, even if they only run for about 3 or 4 hours. If my plan works.
Only one way to find out, dude.
And that's the thing I picked up those little LED flashes for. To solder on some night vision things. So you could actually do a little path out to where everybody's having a wee. You could actually have a latrine path that you can only see with the night vision goggles. Turn on your night vision goggles and just walk out to it to take a piss. as well as seeing wildlife and stuff. But you would start using them very casually once you had a pair and once they were that cheap. And if I can 3D print a little case for all the bits, it's just like a box on top of like a foam, you know, like packing foam.
Yeah.
Slightly denser than that sort of foam, holding a little TV screen. And also, if you could figure it out and get a nice little, you know, those ring mice that they use for presentations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you could get one of those and plug it into the Raspberry Pi somehow, right? You could actually use it as a bit of a computer. So you could actually play video files on a little 4-inch colour screen, like 3 inches from your face. You could actually load it up with movies as well. If you had your phone with you, you could also use it to surf the internet. You could use a Bluetooth keyboard with it. If you could touch type, because you wouldn't be able to look down and see the keyboard. So you're probably better off with mouse-based stuff. But you can navigate around a lot of YouTube and stuff just with a mouse.
Yeah.
You rarely have to type anything unless you want to search for stuff. And then you just think, look, it will just bring stuff up I like to watch. That's what it does. So most of the time, if you've got a sheet of stuff from YouTube, there's something in there that you'll think, oh, I'll give that a go. So you'd only really need the mouse. But you'd have a tiny little Raspberry Pi computer. But if you had some movies and shit on your on the little SD card that goes in it, if you've got a 64 gig SD card or a 32 gig SD card to put in it, you could put like half a dozen films or TV series on it, no problem. You could just about do it. You probably put about 10 or 15 gigs worth of movies and TV on it, and music. Because I bet you could set it up so you can use the, I think it, no, it hasn't got a headphone socket. No, it's got to. There's got to be a way of getting sound off it. Where's the video? You could do an HDMI signal to, yeah, I know how you could get audio off it as well. So you'd have a little, like a tablet, but you'd only have a mouse to control it with.
Yeah.
So you could probably read emails but not respond to them, if you wanted to, if you hooked it up to your phone. And yes, you could hook it up to your phone if you buy the right Raspberry Pi Zero, because it'd have Wi-Fi on it. You could create a Wi-Fi hotspot with your phone and surf the net and watch YouTube live in the woods, looking like a fucking cyberpunk Nazi. Yeah, be great. Wouldn't that be a cool thing to have for 25 quid?
Yeah.
Maybe 30 quid if it's the Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi. But it'd be worth having the Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi. Because just running Wi-Fi overnight from your phone doesn't drain the battery like having the screen on does. Just using it as a Wi-Fi hotspot and using the Raspberry Pi Zero. And you can make it so it could have swap out power banks.
Yeah.
So you could go to Poundland and buy 5 or 6 of those little 1200 milliamp power banks as batteries. You know, because you can recharge them. So you'd spend a quid on rechargeable batteries for something and get a few sets if it ran it for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And if you had it, oh, you can't really take them apart once you've assembled them. Not for, as far as the screen goes. But you could unplug the HDMI and plug it into a normal monitor if you wanted to, when you got home, and load it up with stuff as if it was a network computer.
Yeah.
You could then connect it to your laptop. You could create a Wi-Fi network and copy stuff across, or just plug in a hard drive and copy shit from the hard drive to the Raspberry Pi, or just stick the SD card in another machine and drag files onto the desktop folder of the Raspberry Pi. So you could definitely get 10 gig on it, and Wi-Fi and YouTube and a Ring mouse, and basically surf the net and watch YouTube with a really nice closed-in screen while you're in the woods for 30 quid. Why haven't I built these again? They sound good, don't they?
It's not the first time I've heard you have these ideas.
No, but very rarely is there an idea that's like a day away from me having it.
Yeah.
You know, that's me sitting down doing a bit of Python, which is the Raspberry Pi's programming language, and Python ain't that hard. And probably somebody's already done it somewhere. I mean, I don't even necessarily have to program the friggin' thing. I just have to work out how to adjust the program so it's a much cooler thing. You can see it.
Yeah.
So it's a full, it encompasses your whole vision when you're looking into these goggles. So as you're looking out the camera, you're getting about a 90-degree vision thing. So you have to turn your head a little bit more to get a wider pan of vision. But you have got night vision goggles, and there's another button, and all you have to do when you press button 2 is it says, you know the camera, take a photo from it and save it in this folder. And then a third button that says, you know the camera, start recording video until this button is pressed again. So you'll have a heads-up night vision video camera
Oh yeah, well, I get the concept.
out of 25 quid's worth of bits. So I promise you, when I build one, if I can get it to work and you are suitably impressed, I will just build you a pair and send it to you.
That's not a plan.
Because those will be cool fun to have, even if they only run for about 3 or 4 hours. If my plan works.
Only one way to find out, dude.
And that's the thing I picked up those little LED flashes for. To solder on some night vision things. So you could actually do a little path out to where everybody's having a wee. You could actually have a latrine path that you can only see with the night vision goggles. Turn on your night vision goggles and just walk out to it to take a piss. As well as seeing wildlife and stuff. But you would start using them very casually once you had a pair and once they were that cheap. And if I can 3D print a little case for all the bits, it's just like a box on top of like a foam, you know, like packing foam.
Yeah.
Slightly denser than that sort of foam, holding a little TV screen. And also, if you could figure it out and get a nice little, you know those ring mice that they use for presentations?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? You know, if you could get one of those and plug it into the Raspberry Pi somehow, right? You could actually use it as a bit of a computer. So you could actually play video files on a little 4-inch colour screen, like 3 inches from your face. You could actually load it up with movies as well. If you had your phone with you, you could also use it to surf the internet. You could use a Bluetooth keyboard with it. If you could touch type, because you wouldn't be able to look down and see the keyboard. So you're probably better off with mouse-based stuff. But you can navigate around a lot of YouTube and stuff just with a mouse.
Yeah.
You rarely have to type anything unless you want to search for stuff. And then you just think, look, it will just bring stuff up I like to watch. That's what it does. So most of the time, if you've got a sheet of stuff from YouTube, there's something in there that you'll think, oh, I'll give that a go. So you'd only really need the mouse. But you'd have a tiny little Raspberry Pi computer. But if you had some movies and shit on your on the little SD card that goes in it, if you got a 64 gig SD card or a 32 gig SD card to put in it, you could put like half a dozen films or TV series on it, no problem. You could just about do it. You probably put about 10 or 15 gigs worth of movies and TV on it, and music. Because I bet you could set it up so you can use the, no, it hasn't got a headphone socket. No, there's got to be a way of getting sound off it. Where's the video? You could do an HDMI signal to, yeah, I know how you could get audio off it as well. So you'd have a little, like a tablet, but you'd only have a mouse to control it with.
Yeah.
So you could probably read emails but not respond to them, if you wanted to, if you hooked it up to your phone. And yes, you could hook it up to your phone if you buy the right Raspberry Pi Zero, because it'd have Wi-Fi on it. You could create a Wi-Fi hotspot with your phone and surf the net and watch YouTube live in the woods, looking like a fucking cyberpunk Nazi. Yeah, be great. Wouldn't that be a cool thing to have for 25 quid?
Yeah.
Maybe 30 quid if it's the Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi. But it'd be worth having the Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi. Because just running Wi-Fi overnight from your phone doesn't drain the battery like having the screen on does. just using it as a Wi-Fi hotspot and using the Raspberry Pi Zero. And you could make it so it could have swap out power banks.
Yeah.
So you could go to Poundland and buy 5 or 6 of those little 1200 milliamp power banks as batteries. You know, because you can recharge them. So you'd spend £1 on rechargeable batteries for something and get a few sets if it ran it for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And if you had it, you can't really take them apart once you've assembled them. Not for, as far as the screen goes. But you could unplug the HDMI and plug it into a normal monitor if you wanted to, when you got home, and load it up with stuff as if it was a network computer.
Yeah.
You could then connect it to your laptop. You could create a Wi-Fi network and copy stuff across, or just plug in a hard drive and copy shit from the hard drive to the Raspberry Pi, or just stick the SD card in another machine and drag files onto the desktop folder of the Raspberry Pi. So you could definitely get 10 gig on it, and Wi-Fi, and YouTube, and a Ring mouse, and basically surf the net and watch YouTube with a really nice closed-in screen while you're in the woods for 30 quid. Why haven't I built these again? They sound good, don't they?
It's not the first time I've heard you have these ideas.
No, but very rarely is there an idea that's like a day away from me having it.
Yeah.
You know, that's me sitting down doing a bit of Python, which is the Raspberry Pi's programming language, and Python ain't that hard. And probably somebody's already done it somewhere. I mean, I don't even necessarily have to program the friggin' thing. I just have to work out how to adjust the program so it's a much cooler thing.